Hey, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome back to Testing Normal. This is episode, what are we on? Seven?
Episode 7, yep.
Special number. We got a special guest with us, Noah Nye.
Noah Nye, the man, the myth, the legend. And, guys, this is a podcast where we talk about anything and everything. And there's pretty much nothing that's off limits.
Yeah. Talk about some trending topics, talk about some funny things, talk about funny things in our lives. And
current topics, yeah, for sure.
Fun fact about Noah, he's the first person I put on a notice that we were going to go live of who it was. Because he's that
honored.
special.
I'm honored. Yeah. I feel special.
Thank you. Well, you are special. So Noah is a fellow friend I grew up with. I mentioned him in one of the past podcasts, and worked with him on a farm back in the day. And we had one day. Well, first of all, I'll tell you real quick. By trade, he is a contractor, but he works as an estimator as well. If you guys need any big projects taken care of, boom.
Yeah.
This guy right here.
Especially in the Portland area.
Yeah.
Yeah, preferably in the Portland area, so you just have to drive very far.
Yeah, exactly. He's your man. So going back real quick, remember back in the day we used to work on the farm. And do you remember the one special day that we had?
The rocks
day.
When we brought up that story, I remember bringing the tractor out with a bucket, and there was it was a field of dirt, and you're like,
yeah,
each rock.
Oh yeah,
all day long.
Have you ever found a rock you couldn't pick up that you couldn't get into?
Oh, I've hit some.
Well, yeah, I've done that. I found one time, and it was enormous.
Yeah. Well, when you were on the farm, that you had to go pick rocks too.
I was on the specialty rock picking crew at one point.
Oh, there's a special rock.
Yeah, it's where you go through a field that doesn't have as many with a mule, and it's already been rotivated and really smooth, and totally blew the transmission of one of the Kawasaki mules.
Oh,
not like when people say the transmission blew up, it actually did that, and pieces came out of belt, and it just smelled burnt, and I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck in the middle of the field. I had to call, hey, can you send someone to get me?
Yeah.
So
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But basically, we spent the entire day in the field picking up rocks, using a tractor, and it was a bonding moment. It was a bonding rock picking moment.
I would say that was one of the turning points in our friendship.
For sure. So if anybody's looking for a good friend and they think, man, I just really lack that good friend, go ask somebody if they'll pick some rocks with you in a field. And
you'll learn.
Do something awful together, and you will bond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you will bond.
Make sure it's at least 90, 93 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the mutual suffering, It's
totally.
Oh, yeah, everyone's together.
Totally.
Yeah.
So something interesting that I heard about Noah, or just recently you were talking before the podcast with me about, and I don't think that Jordan knows about this either.
What?
Noah went through a insane health crisis
this
past year. Basically 5 months ago, was when the heat of it was. Is that right?
Well, it all started in June. So.
Started in June. Okay. So a little bit longer. 9 months or something.
Yeah, 8 or 9 months ago.
Dude, what happened?
Well, we'll start off in June. One night when I laid down to go to bed, my heart went into AFib, atrial fibrillation. And it was just I almost felt like it was a panic attack, just heart's pumping. But I'm laying there, I'm like, this shit ain't going away. I called my wife and I was like, babe, does this feel normal to you? And she's like, no. She called this nurse hotline. Wow. And they were like, he needs to get into the ER within an hour, within the hour.
Whoa.
He needs to go. And I went in there and they told me, they were like, your heart's in AFib. Normally someone my age and whatnot, they're either having a panic attack or they drink too much caffeine, stuff like that. But
sure.
Mine was legit.
Actual AFib, yeah.
Yeah, the heart's just going crazy. And
super dangerous.
Yeah. So they hooked me up to a defibrillator and did a cardioversion where they just shock your heart and it turns off and on and gets back into rhythm.
Oh, my God.
Like a computer.
Yeah.
Turn it off and on.
Reboot.
Wow. So they figure out what it was?
Well... Maybe. So the ER doctor was like, once I told him how much I was drinking, which by the way doesn't seem like a lot. If it was, so I'd have it sounds like a lot now when I say it, but
sure,
I'd come home and I've had probably in all honesty 3 to 5 beers after work in the evening, throughout the evening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But then when you start tabbing it up, it's like, okay, yeah.
Right. If it adds up every day in the week, then
but it's like it wasn't like I'm not drinking like craft beers. It's like High Life. That was
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But that started it. So
it's the GMO beer.
Yeah. I with that scared the shit out of me. I quit smoking like right away. That was like done.
Mm-hmm.
Cut back on drinking, and I switched.
First of all, was it pretty hard? Like, had you smoked for a while, or like, did you feel like when you cut out alcohol and smoking, was it like, did you feel like, man, I got withdrawals from this? This is rough.
Smoking was that actually was the easiest. I just like didn't even register.
No kidding.
Once it like was messing with my heart, I was like, oh, like
the fear kind of was.
That's true.
Was
that would spike your ability to give up things.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, didn't even register. The drinking, I was like, I set a rule. I was like, all right, which it's weird now. It's like, it sounded like I had a problem or something, but I didn't. But it was like, all right, now I'm not going to, my rule was like, I wouldn't drink at home during the weekdays. Unless like we had friends over or something, you know.
Sure.
So now you're inviting a lot of friends over.
Yeah, we're having parties.
We had more friends than we ever had.
I only drink when friends come over. Do you want to come over?
We need to, no, so that dramatically cut back on my drinking and stuff. And it was fine. I switched over to the paleo diet.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Nice.
Went all keto?
Yeah. Well, paleo's not keto.
Right, that's different.
No.
But do you become keto?
Similar.
Do you become ketogenic when you go on the paleo diet?
Well, you could.
Okay.
Yeah, like keto is like
more fat.
Getting into ketosis and all that. That's like
you're chasing ketosis.
It's like a high intensity version of paleo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it cuts some things even further that paleo would have.
Oh, okay. More restricted than paleo. Okay.
Although there are some keto, they call it dirty keto because people are like, oh, I'm going to go ketogenic, and they eat a bunch of garbage keto food and it's not good for them. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I read a book by Mark Sisson called The Primal Blueprint.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never read that book, but I know who the guy is.
Great book. Great. I totally believe in this diet because I started changing and like I followed it like to the T. Like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right.
Yeah.
And I started seeing improvements. I started feeling amazing. Everything started clearing up, and I felt great. And that was going. And part of the deal is I got to check up with my doctor to do a full blood test.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just to see where I'm at. And then when that came back, my liver enzymes were slightly elevated.
Oh my goodness.
And
when it rains, it pours.
Yeah. Well, she was like, hey, do you think you could go a couple months without alcohol to see if that'll bring it down?
Right.
And my first reaction was like, months?
Months? I don't know if you know this, but I have friends coming over this Friday. And
I got a pretty strict rule about that.
I can't make them feel bad.
Sorry.
I told her like I would do a month. Which, I was like, I can do it, but actually I had the Harvest Festival going on, which is a local event.
A lot of drinking going on.
Like, there's not a ton of drinking that goes on there, but I mean, it's one of the things you do.
Like I've been volunteering at it for a couple years now, like as a committee head and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I know because of the behind the scenes, like I'm probably going to be drinking. So, and like after hours, just so everyone knows.
Sure.
Anyway, so I quit drinking for the month of August, and I started kind of feeling crappy, and I thought I was like getting burnout on this diet, but it ended up I got the blood work back at the end of the month, and she calls me up and was like, what did you do? Like, your liver enzymes are through the roof, like way worse than they were before I started.
Really?
That's crazy.
And she actually
can I ask, were you losing weight?
Because of paleo. I was losing weight. And after this has all happened, I'm kind of thinking that it was just like, the perfect accumulation of all these things.
Different stressors.
Yeah, that was like bringing things to light pretty much.
Sure.
But basically, it ended up, she wanted me to do imaging, and I started all this testing. I started getting really sick, and I have the Epstein-Barr virus, which
a lot of people have that.
Pretty much, it sounds
almost
like
everybody.
Almost everybody has it, but it's just not active.
Right.
All right.
And so,
what does it do? Like,
it's the precursor to mono. They call it like it's like the kissing disease or whatever, and it makes you feel like you have the flu, like lack of appetite
for like a month or 3.
Yeah. So that was what was happening to me. I started feeling like crap, and I'm like, I thought it was the food, because I'm doing this whole thing. I'm like, this stuff tastes like shit now. I'm like, I just felt crappy.
Food tastes different.
So, could I ask, like, what were you eating during that time? Because I've had a lot of people that have gone this way. They've gone paleo, they've gone keto, and their liver enzymes go up.
So the thing is like the paleo diet is a high-fat, low-carb diet.
Right.
And it's healthy fat, so it's like avocados, eggs,
Right. MTC oil.
Yeah, like grass-fed
MCT.
butter.
MTC.
THC oil.
THC oil.
Lots of THC. But yeah, so it's like a lot of high healthy fats and like a lot of like just whole foods. It's kind of like a whole food diet. So like eating meat and healthy vegetables, stuff like that. Which high fat it's a lot like for your liver to process, and that's usually why.
Usually when your body's shifting over to it as well. The reason why I asked when you were losing weight is your body, what will do is, especially with like ketogenic diets, is when it starts to break down that fat and it's actually trying to convert that fat to energy. There's toxins and stuff that have been stored in there for a while. When they come out, that's what starts to spike liver enzymes more times than not, because it's fat that people haven't lost or gotten rid of, and it's stored up. So now you're getting toxins released at a rate that your body's not used to it. And so while you're losing that, because I had some friends that were similar to that, and then it like totally levels out. Yeah. Like once you stop that initial loss, the liver.
But unfortunately,
but yours was. I'm gonna guess yours didn't do that.
No. So that being said, like that with the whole process, like I totally believe in this paleo diet. Like, because I mean, it worked. Like you turn your body into being a fat burning body instead of sugar burning, and like it's insane, and it was working great. But so I get sick, do the blood test, and then it's like something's wrong, and we start doing all sorts of like testing, and we can't figure it out, and because like nothing's showing up on like I was having ultrasounds, MRIs and stuff with my liver, but I was showing symptoms of like some sort of liver
disease
issue,
or something.
And then finally in November we did a liver biopsy, and that proved that I have it's called small duct primary sclerosing cholangitis, which the normal version.
How long did it take you to remember that?
It was pretty quick because people kept asking me. But when the doctor said that, I was like, wait, what?
She's like, whoa.
Right.
I'm turning into a dinosaur.
Excuse me? How dare you talk to me in that manner?
Did I hear a niner in there?
Yeah.
But so it ended up.
That's the first Tommy Boy quote on this podcast, by the way. That was good.
I'll take that.
Well done, sir. Well done.
But so it basically the disease, primary sclerosing cholangitis, it affects the bile duct system in your liver, and basically what happens is the ducts, the walls and the ducts become inflamed, and the bile it's harder for it to like pass through. Sure. And eventually over time it scars up from all the inflammation, and it'll like end up closing off, and then it starts getting real bad because it starts seeping in your liver and starts cirrhosis of the liver,
right? Scarring of the liver, and then you get
that sounds
poor liver function. And
so it's a very rare disease. Like there's not a lot of info out on it. There's no known medication or therapies to like treat it or make it better. Sure. The only known cure, and it can still come back, is a liver transplant. So
no kidding.
Wait, it can still come back?
It can come back in the
it's because you have something.
You can get if you have scarring already to the liver, but also the bile ducts. It sounds like there's probably chronic thickening to the bile ducts.
So like like over time, with all the inflammation like your body creates.
So if you have an episode where there's inflammation, and inflammation could cause thickening to those walls, and then that thickening may not reverse completely. Yeah,
so like, when your body deals with something like inflammation like that, it'll eventually, like a lot of times, say you get a muscle cramp and you can't work it out, like you get trauma, and your muscle's tight, your body's going to create the scar tissue to kind of hold it there so it's not doing so much work. Yeah. So with like the ducts, from all the inflammation over time, it's going to start scarring to not have to, like it just builds up. Yep. And so that being said, it's rare, but I actually have the rarer version.
Whoa.
Which it sounds worse, but it's actually to my favor because it's small duct primary sclerosis and cholangitis affects the outer branches. So if you think of the duct system as like a tree, the large ducts are the trunk and the big branches, and then the small ducts are the small twigs and outshoots. So my large ducts aren't affected right now. It's just the outer.
Okay.
So my liver can process.
Still has easier output. The piping is on the larger, so the larger pipes are working better.
Yeah.
And
so you eating a low inflammation diet is that helpful?
So that's what I kind of had to switch to. I kind of stopped doing the paleo because it's a high fat, low carb diet, and the high fat.
So it's all Twinkies then right now, right? All day.
Okay, well, actually, I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight, like dangerously low for me.
Because when you were having all those symptoms.
When I got sick.
Yeah, when you got sick.
When I started with the heart AFib, I was 210, and then like probably end of November, early December, I was like 150 pounds.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was skin and bones, but so once I got my appetite back, it was kind of like everything's game.
Right.
But now we're working on getting me back into like an anti-inflammatory diet. Just to hopefully keep it. And I've pulled out with all this sickness. It was like a flare up of the disease. It's like
oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's an interesting combination you have to find a balance of, because if you have too high of fat or certain foods that are going to cause more process and work on the liver, you're trying to find that balance of like, I don't want to cause that, but then also some carbs will cause more inflammation as well. So it's like, where does that balance find itself? I guess it's like lagoons.
Well, hey, like the people that live the longest, like have the longest recorded lifespans are the Okinawas in Japan. They're not high fat.
That's true.
They're 70% carb. They mostly ate yams and salmon, which I would eat.
It's nothing
forever.
It's all vegetables.
Sounds good.
It's vegetables.
It's high.
Basically.
It's high like root vegetables.
High root vegetables, which I mean, if you got enough good seasoning, enough good seasoning, and
just use an air fryer and make it all
air
the
fryer.
ways you can.
Yeah, dude, I'm down with air fryers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those are fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Jordan's been making some sick.
One?
No, Jordan does. He's been making some sick
chicken wings.
I've
made fries. Those fries I had the other night when we watched that fight.
Is it like the one on the infomercials?
I don't know.
Like late night, like
it's like it has a basket but no oil. I don't know. You can get them at Costco.
Yeah, it's like convection, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's like convection. Yeah, it's super good.
I've seen like promos.
Oh my gosh,
for that.
man.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're sending Noah our hopes and prayers, man. He's gonna be good.
Where are you at? So you're kind of like out of that right now, but you're just managing it.
Yeah. So it's with it being like a progressive disease.
Yeah.
They tend to have like flare-ups, ups and downs.
So how often do you have to go in and like do tests and stuff just to see where you're at?
Well, now I'm like on more of just keeping an eye on it because there's nothing I can do. Like I go in every 6 months now. I'll have to do imaging of my liver. And then some other procedures because now I'm at like higher risk for like liver cancer and colon cancer because of all this.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So, but it's really like the liver specialist is like, yeah, man, you got it. Like,
would you be because you're young, otherwise pretty healthy. Yeah. Would you be a candidate for transplant?
So that's the thing is people are like, well, why don't you just get it transplanted now? Because
super hard to get one, obviously.
Well, yeah, but if you have like a living donor, it's different, sort of. Because so this is crazy.
Like somebody that you know that would match you.
Would match my blood type.
And they can give you part of their liver?
So this is the trippy part is the liver is the only organ that will regenerate. So say you and I were a match, like blood type, and it'd all work. You could give me half your liver. I would take that, put it in mine. That half would grow into a full liver.
What?
And yours would grow back.
Wait. To a full liver?
Like full enough functioning.
I've known a few things, and I did not know that it would grow.
So why can't why did our body pick that and not like hands or feet?
I could be like.
Well, no. I mean, but it's significant. It's significant enough.
I'm not a doctor.
It's significant though that it would grow back. It's like it's like a worm, basically.
Somebody out there is going like,
this
guys, you're nuts.
Wait. What type of blood are you?
I am O positive.
Isn't like
that's like everybody?
Isn't like 70% of
it's got to be a tissue match too, right?
I don't know for sure.
For organs,
like majority of the population is O positive though.
Yeah,
O positive is like the ultimate giving.
I thought O negative was.
O negative is like universal.
You can give yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like they can give and take and whatever.
And AB positive can receive it from anybody.
But they can't give it to anyone.
But they can give it to only AB positive. Yes. Selfish. So if you know anybody out there AB positive, they're selfish.
Don't be friends with them.
Yeah.
Don't be friends with them. No, definitely not.
Well, with the liver thing though, like basically a liver transplant is a very high risk procedure. So the risk of you keeping the liver has to be higher than doing the procedure. And they have this whole scale system based on like your liver function, your health, all this, your age and everything, that they have a scale. And a normal person is like on a 7 or 8. They're about a 7 or 8 on the scale.
Of keeping?
Well, like the scale they use to determine whether or not you should be put on the list.
Oh, okay.
So,
I gotcha.
A normal healthy person is at a 7 or an 8. To be considered put on the list, you need to be at like 15. And I'm at like a 12. So I'm like...
What would bump your numbers up?
Well, I mean, health-wise, like if my liver starts getting worse over time...
That would increase your number?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And another thing, like my number might be 12, but if the duct work starts getting like a lot of infections and stuff like that, even though my number is a 12 because my liver is functioning, I might be...
Increase your number.
Yeah, higher up on the list because of... the susceptible, or like I'm susceptible to
worsening condition. Yeah. Deterioration. Yeah.
So basically I need to be at a certain point like worse off before I'm considered to get a transplant. Wow. I'm okay staying there.
Right. I know it's like in your head, you got to feel like, well, I'm kind of okay sticking in this place because I don't want to get worse,
Yeah. Like I'm okay right now, not needing a liver transplant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So since we're talking about health stuff.
Yeah. What do you got?
Last night, my wife sent me this article, and I have it up now.
Okay.
So this guy, he's sitting with his granddaughter in the hospital, and he knew he was going to die or whatever, and this robot rolled in with a doctor on it.
Oh,
and the robot, the doctor on the robot told the man that he was going to die in the next couple days through a robot.
Yeah, so it had a video screen.
Yeah.
And then
But here's the kicker. Here's where it got worse. I read it and I was like, well, okay, maybe they were busy. Still not a lot of tact. But the guy couldn't hear the robot because it was too quiet, and his granddaughter had to keep repeating everything that he said to her grandpa.
You're gonna die, Grandpa. Oh,
yeah.
man.
What did he say? He said, "You're done." Like you like.
So it's a video. It's a video you can watch.
No, it's not. They kind of show like the technology and stuff. I think there's like some pictures of what the robot looks like here.
Okay.
There is a video. There's a video, but it doesn't really. It's not ever.
It's not of the
So, but you can kind of see like that's.
Gotcha.
That's like the most like that.
That's hard.
Giving that news is like would be the one thing that you think you would not want to. You would want to do it in person. Like you would not want to do it via robot.
They were like, "Yeah, sorry, it's our policy." Like that was. They're reviewing it now.
So here's the situation.
This is Kaiser
Permanente.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the real situation with that. You have these people who need access to healthcare, and they live in a super remote area, and they can't maybe get out of that area.
Right.
So is the option A, have someone call in remotely, like a physician call in remotely, or a provider call in remotely that can diagnose people and explain things, or is it not have anybody out there?
Well, I mean, I believe it was like I don't know where it was.
It had to be somewhere remote.
It wasn't that remote. It didn't look like it.
Really?
Because I watched part of the video. I was like, it didn't look like it was some little town. Like he drove in to it, and they're like, "You're not going to leave here." Like,
really?
That's the news they came to give him.
Oh man,
that seems I would have a tough time with that personally.
What if they mix up the rooms? Like the guy next door has like,
so
he's got a bad cold.
No man,
you have to live.
I've experienced that. Like I was in to get my appendix out, and my wife had left, and I was waiting for the time when like it was going to happen, doc comes in my room, and he's like, "Hey, how you feeling?" I was like, "I'm good." He's like, "How's your knee?" And I said, "My knee is fine." He goes, he puts his hand on my leg, and he's like, "It's gonna feel a lot better in a little while." And I was like, "What?" Like, there's nothing wrong with my knee. And he goes, he like takes a step back and like lifts my chart up and kind of peeks at it, and he goes, "I'm in the wrong room." Like, "Yeah, you are. Don't you touch my knee. Like, leave me alone."
Like in the VA and stuff, like almost to a point where you're like, okay, this is getting annoying. But it's for that very reason. They'll ask you, like, why
Who
are
are
you?
you?
Yeah, what is your name? What's your social?
What's your last four? What's your birthday?
Yeah. What are you in for?
What's your favorite color?
Is it your left knee or right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so they make sure they don't.
They do.
Miss that.
It's like
Dude.
the person comes in, does all the questions, they leave, and then the doctor comes back and asks you all the same questions. Like, well, okay,
dude, getting on the technology thing. There's a whole strain of things I've been
oh
thinking
my
about
gosh,
with
yes.
technology. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, I wanted to kind of bring up this crazy thing that's going on in Russia right now.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you guys heard about this or not.
Is it the robot that shoots?
That shoots
No,
people?
I haven't heard about that.
What
is that?
Okay, this is like a video I saw. It's like they've developed this
In Russia?
in Russia.
Motherland?
Yeah, it's a robot
that
like
you control.
It's for like outer space, like war stuff. They're sending it up to the space station or something.
What?
The video is
Just in case.
This robot that kind of looks like Terminator, or a mix between Robocop and Terminator, and he's got two pistols, and there's like these metal targets set up. And the robot's just like, and it's just ting, 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 all the...
What?
Dude, this is...
It's like a video game.
People are begging for Skynet.
Oh, yeah.
But they're begging
like,
for Skynet,
they've
begging for robots to just take us
all
over.
I can think about is on like Arrested Development when Buster... He ends up flying drones, but he thinks he's just playing video games for the army, and he's blowing people up, and he's like, "Wait, these are people? Like, what am I doing?"
Dude, but getting into the Russia thing I was going to bring up.
Yes.
Did you guys see this? Russia, you can pull it up.
Okay.
Russia passed a law that if you have anything that you comment online disrespecting the government, they've now legal
I did see this.
to jail you for 15 days. So if you say something
negative
about the state of Russia,
like even if you just disagree with them,
I mean, if anything that they find derogatory,
that's crazy.
The parliament just approved a law that allows the courts to jail people for online disrespect of the government. What a can of worms that opens.
Yeah, because what's their definition?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, it would just be up to their
discretion.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's offensive.
So this is their definition. The posts that demonstrate a blatant disrespect for society, country. Yeah. Well,
we can do this.
But this is
we're gonna get there soon.
I want to segue into that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna get there.
But yeah, and repeat offenders, blah 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 blah. 15 days, they can be fined up to 1,200 euros.
I just read on this subject.
Yeah.
I just read. I think it's like what was the mean king?
Louis the VIII, Henry the VIII.
Maybe.
My history is really poor, people, especially of English history.
Yeah. But he did something mean.
Yeah. So he was in like Ireland or something, and he was visiting a school, and some kid made fun of him, and it pissed him off so much that he had his guards go and take the kid and throw him into the hole for
the lions or.
No, like in prison. Just
okay.
Like I
was like,
lions and
just wolves,
lions and
solitary confinement,
tigers
in Ireland,
and bears,
and left him in there. He told they sent a letter to his parents that the kid went missing.
Oh my gosh!
But even though it was because he said something bad about the king died. People forgot about him, and he was locked in prison for 69 years because as a child in school he made fun of the king while he was there. I just read this, and
so he must have. How did he live? Someone must have fed him.
Maybe it's a little off. Maybe it was a different person. But a kid got locked in a hole for too long.
Yeah, 69 years too long.
Can you imagine? Okay, so it would be like, okay, I'm out now, but think of all the years that it's like you've lost. And
oh no, your brain would be mush.
You're gone.
Your brain would just be destroyed.
Yeah, like
essentially, you would come out as a child.
How old was he? Or roughly?
I mean, it was like elementary school or middle school.
Goodness
the kid made
sakes.
fun of the king and they threw him. Okay. I just really want to put a disclaimer. I'm reading these things and like I haven't like fact checked them.
No, that's good, man. So going on that back to us aspect, so it kind of freaks me out thinking about Russia and how it's kind of becoming. They're trying to get back to the whole SSR or what was it? Basically, yeah. When it was USSR, yeah.
It reminds me of Street Fighter. USSR.
Basically trying to get back to these old ways that were fascist and kind of communist, obviously. But it seems like that kind of ties into this whole social media online world. There's another article. I just keep seeing all these different articles that are freaking me out. I'm seeing a trend where...
you got the next one up? Okay.
Yeah. In Malaysia, a guy just got 10 years in prison for insulting Islam on Facebook. Now, this is a little bit different because this is on CNN. This is a little bit different because...
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, no.
It's a little different.
This is on CNN. Yeah, this doesn't count.
I'm just saying... I don't know why I said that. But... well,
because it's Malaysia.
Because it's Malaysia is why I meant it's a little different. Yeah. I meant it's different because in Malaysia, it's a primarily Muslim state. And so it's not so much that he did it on social media, but it's in fact that he insulted Muslim, religion overall. Right. But it just goes to show like how in Russia, if you do something online, you're going to go to prison that they don't agree with. In Malaysia, you're doing something online, you're going to go to prison that they don't agree with. And in the U.S., I'm starting to freak out a little bit because... Or I don't know if I should say freak out, but I'm starting to kind of hear what's a canary in the coal mine about a lot of these kind of crazy situations that are going on with... No, I'm good. I don't know if you guys have been hearing about dead naming on social media.
I have. Noah, why don't you tell us about dead naming?
Do you know what it is?
I didn't until you were like, hey, just a heads up.
Yeah.
Talk about dead naming.
What do you know?
I know that it's
explain it like you were talking to a 5-year-old.
So, transgender community.
Sure.
A lot of times they change their name from their birth, their name given to them at birth.
Yes.
They change their name to kind of make the final step, usually, or whatever,
Yes.
And dead naming is when someone uses their birth name instead of their new name.
Yes, exactly. And so my issue isn't necessarily like, I don't feel like it's necessary for me to incite someone and insult somebody by calling them a name that they don't want to be called.
Yeah.
Right. Not making fun of them.
No, yeah, exactly.
But they did live a life as that.
They did. And
it's ma'am.
It's ma'am.
Yes.
It's ma'am. And so my concern is lately there's been on Twitter and other social media platforms that if you by I believe, I don't know if it's for sure, but I believe even if it's by accident, potentially you could be kicked off of these platforms. So
there's a little bit to that.
It
has to be blatant towards a person.
Yeah, towards a person.
It's not like if you're sharing your opinion about dead naming.
Right, exactly. But if I was to tweet Noah and he doesn't want to be called Noah anymore, he wants to be called Noel.
Yeah.
Ooh. He would kind of sound
You're
smooth.
onto something.
If I tweeted him and I said, "Hey, Noah Nye, you're a punk," and I didn't think to call him by his now preferred name. Essentially, I could get kicked off of Twitter or Instagram or whatever.
It would give you a strike. They do have a pretty.
I think you could do it a couple times, maybe.
It's basically 3 strikes, you're out.
But the thing is maybe you don't know that's their new preferred name, and then that could happen in other situations.
And they allow you to correct that.
But my concern is I'm seeing a lot of these social media sites that are getting more and more kind of like they're trying to bend towards the new social norms. But I'm concerned that I'm curious. I wonder if this is going to, because they're now the main way that a lot of people communicate, and it's honestly like a way of, is this interacting with freedom of speech? And is that an issue that is then going to become government regulated? Yeah. And anytime government gets involved in something, it makes me nervous, because then it feels like now government's going to make certain things law that then seems like a slippery slope.
Or that they don't know.
I don't know if
about.
That makes sense.
Well, that's like that whole thing. So like my kind of general take on life and everything is kind of like whatever floats your boat, dude. Like, okay, it's cool.
Sure.
And say you changed your name, and started, you were transgender.
Yeah.
And like I was like, hey, what's up, Curtis? And you'd be like, oh, hey, it's
sure,
ma'am.
Yeah. Right.
I would be like, oh, I'm sorry. And then I would call you whatever. But when it starts getting into like, you're making rules that I have to.
Exactly.
Right.
But, you know, to the extent, like, I'm not going to, like, if I was doing it purposely.
I don't even know. So this is my thought, and I don't. Yeah. I'm open to changing, and I want wisdom and direction in this completely. But I kind of in the same way, Noah. Like, I'm not going to go out and protest somebody or against them for something that I don't practice personally. However, I see throughout history, anytime you start having regulations on the way you can speak and what you can and can't say, even if it's something that is offensive,
right?
It seems like it becomes a detriment to society.
So I think there's a difference though between me accidentally saying something and me harassing someone. But so I would if it's on
social media though,
take away the dead naming thing, and you're harping on somebody, but then it gets really slippery too, because that goes on a lot. They're specifying one type of harassment as against their terms, where harassment is already against their terms.
Yeah.
And now they're like specifying just for that, for like, I mean, conceivably a fairly small percentage of the world. They're making
it is a very it is. Well, I mean, as far as we know, but
it's even in that, like it's less than last numbers I looked at, because I did look it up to see, it's like 1% to 2% of the population that it affects. That would pertain to.
Okay.
Like the.
Are you saying there's 1% to 2% of the population is transgender? Is that what you were saying?
That fits into the whole LGBT whatever.
Oh, like, okay. So not just transgender.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like 1% to 2%, somewhere in there, and it might be higher now. That was a few years ago that I looked at that.
Sure.
That stat, and it's. I mean, any of those, it's like kind of hard to figure it out. But even if it is 5%, you're making a rule for 5% when you already have a harassment rule out there. And why not enforce harassment for what it is? Like, if I'm going after you, if I accidentally call someone the wrong name or the wrong gender, what they're really getting at is they want you to now agree that they are the sex that they say they are. And they can say whatever they want, but you can't really, like, you can't force someone to say,
so
ignore their born gender.
Yes. Here's kind of, there's this is so multifaceted and such a complex issue for sure. And
can of worms.
And we have a can of worms for sure. And I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna message or hear this and be very frustrated about the things we did or didn't say. However,
we're not going to cover them all.
No.
I'll just get that out there right now.
Right, but it is such a relevant topic right now. Yeah. Like, this is such
and it's one that's evolving for all of us as we look at it, how we approach it. So how I approach it today might be different 100%. Tomorrow.
But we're trying to I want to talk about it because it is such a relevant and pressing issue that I think it's foolish to just ignore it.
Right.
But it's a multifaceted issue in the respect of, these are companies, these are private industries, right?
Yeah. So that are worldwide.
They're worldwide.
So they're not just in the U.S.
Right. And so they have to make laws that apply
rules,
for
not laws.
Or sorry. Well, I mean, who knows? Eventually laws.
Kind of, yeah.
But rules that apply to the whole world. So like, their rules have to be applicable in all these different countries, and maybe they can have different rules in some ways in different countries, but I think they try to have one overarching rules.
They do, and then some of the rules only pertain to certain countries.
So if it's a private industry, in my head, I think, well, sure, they can make whatever rules they want, and if somebody doesn't want to use that platform, then that's their choice. But because they own the rights to this, it's not government run, then sure, they should be able to kick off whoever they want. They should be able to however many.
When it becomes like a primary way, like, it's a platform, it's yours, and it's like, okay, so the phone lines are not mine, but the way they're regulated,
right?
Like, that's a form of communication,
right?
And it's becoming less and less.
Isn't it the FCC, or what is it? The Federal Communication Committee? FCC,
yeah.
So it's interesting to me. I'm curious if, like, because Twitter, for my generation and younger, and Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, whatever, all these different platforms, I wonder if these eventually will become more regulated federally because it is such a prevalence. Like, this is the way we communicate and talk to each other, basically. Now everything's becoming online. So that's where I'm thinking, like, they're private industries, but are they going to become government run? And if they do become government run
or
because of people
regulated.
people complaining, like, you know, they were not allowing me to have freedom of speech,
right?
You know, then
that's the thing is like, where do you call it? Because like,
yeah,
even the thing, like, you know, the whole Russia thing, and it's like, you'll go to jail for 15 days if you say something bad about the government.
right.
Think about how many people go to prison right now if
like,
the U.S. all of a sudden was like, this is a new law.
Yeah.
Like,
well, if that happened, so I think the way that it's working in Russia, I think they're doing small, incremental tweaks to increase government control, right? And so that's why it's not like
it's kind of how it always works.
Yeah, that's how it always works. But I guess maybe like I see social media as a small little tweak that's maybe having more control over what people can and can't say.
Yeah.
And I'm not for inciting violence on somebody. I'm not for trying to say we should encourage people to harm other people. I think those things need to be approached and addressed. But like, I think somebody should be able to call me whatever they want and be able to, you know, say, you know. Wow.
And if it's harassment, it's one thing, but to say that, it just seems super weird that it's so bent in one direction. So while I would say, I don't want anyone in that community to be harassed at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying this rule seems very odd that it's bent towards a very small subset, specific. But it's based on the beliefs of some of these companies and where they're at. And so they're pushing their own agenda, which is what they've already gotten into trouble for with meddling with elections and stuff, and ads getting posted, and they're having to clean up some of that. I think they're going to have to clean up some of this too. And it might end up costing them in places like the US, where it's like, okay, we do have freedom of speech, and because you're used by so many people, and this is how a lot of people get this, you aren't able to do that anymore. Like,
right. Which is scary.
Yeah, it is scary, but at the same time, like, that's kind of why those things are there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I think there needs to be a balance, because like one of the articles I have, you know, going into this whole internet thing is that I don't have it up yet.
Oh.
There's not a lot of things that this woman has said that I agree with, and that might offend some of you, and that's fine.
Talking about Hillary Clinton?
No, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, okay.
She actually is reintroducing a bill to bring back the net neutrality that got removed.
Oh.
And so this is a big deal. Like, I don't think people understand.
Does anybody? Okay, I need some education on the net neutrality. I don't know how much you understand about Noah, but I feel like I need.
Okay.
What exactly happened?
So let me explain this. The internet companies as a whole, they're big. I mean, we're talking like cover entire. When you can only get cable in one area, like they pay for that. Like they get those areas, and they want to control what can be used on that and what's taking up that bandwidth, because bandwidth costs them. And if they didn't plan for the Netflixes of the world to show up, and all of a sudden people are streaming, 1080p 4K videos, and they're using all this data, that's where all that stuff came in, where it's like, oh, we're going to limit your data. Well, now what they've done, so they want net neutrality gone.
Wait, the big companies?
The big companies do not want net neutrality, because what it says is you're a utility. Whatever goes across it goes across it.
So Netflix would want it.
No, they would not necessarily, because they use the internet. And so what they were doing is they were saying, there were people that were like, my Netflix is not working. And Time Warner, I think it was Time Warner a couple years ago when this was a big deal, they were throttling Netflix to the point where people couldn't stream it, or it would go down to like standard definition.
So that would make me think Netflix would want net neutrality.
No, because they were telling Netflix, we'll speed you back up if you pay us.
Oh, dirty.
So,
but that means they weren't. That means
they
were not allowing for net neutrality.
Right.
So the Netflix would want it.
Netflix would want net neutrality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I thought you were saying they want to get rid of it.
Oh, no, they would want net neutrality.
They do want it, and anyone who has an internet type thing like that, especially video on demand, as that's huge right now, or communications people or whatever, they don't want to be throttled, because what they're doing is then they'll hold it hostage and say, well, you can pay us a portion of those now because you're using our bandwidth.
Gotcha.
And so the customer's already paying for the internet, but now they're telling the companies, we'll slow you down in these areas if you don't pay us.
Okay.
And so the network where you see some of the positives that people see, they're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. Why would we want net neutrality? Why would they vote to ban it or get rid of it?
Okay, so they want to pick the winners. So you'll see T-Mobile comes out and they say, hey, you get free Netflix with your plan.
Right. Yeah. I saw that.
We're not gonna throttle Netflix. They're turning them on, and they're saying we're siding with Netflix. Netflix has given us a deal, and so we're going to let them go faster. So the other video companies on T-Mobile get downgraded, and because it's not included in the plan, and because they throttle the speeds of those certain services. So any company could do that and say, hey, this TV.
I guess provider, I don't get why did it get voted for net neutrality to be banned? Like, why did they vote it away?
They put it into place, and it was made law. The companies lobbied to get rid of it.
So basically,
this is going to hurt us.
Basically, for the overall population, net neutrality is a good thing.
No, it's horrible.
Now I'm confused because I like the idea of them not being able to control.
You want whatever you want to stream over that utility. It would be like not having net neutrality is like the companies coming in and telling you can't have that washing machine. It uses too much energy, and they tell you what you can use your electricity for.
So I'm saying I would want net neutrality.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I'm so confused.
Oh my God.
We want it.
Yes.
They don't.
Right.
Yes.
So it seems like a super sketchy, basically big business scumbag move for them to lobby for net neutrality to be
They've put
erased.
a ton of money into
it doesn't
that.
do anything for the small person, but it only does for those mega corporations, the few mega corporations
it could
that run
hurt
it all.
someone small trying to start a new audio streaming service, and they don't have the money to pay off the companies to allow that to stream as fast as they need it to.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe in the up and coming world where there's more online technical companies, that could be a detriment.
So this also kind of goes to what we were talking about, is allowing people the freedom of what they want to use their internet for, they can use it for. And so we get these companies now that are saying, oh, you can't be on our platform because you don't agree with us. Or something like that. I could see this in a roundabout way affecting some of those people too.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a complicated issue. There's so many facets to it, but it's crazy how, like, when we were kids, there literally was no Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
You
barely had a
the
phone.
concept of thinking about all this being online was not even a.
Or you pick up the phone and you hear the dial-up or whatever. You're like,
oh no, somebody's on the chat room again.
AOL shit.
Yeah, social. our
AIM. That's
AIM. Oh, it's gone. Did you know they turned it off?
I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put out a big notice to the 3 people still using it.
I didn't even know AOL was still around, but I found out it is still around.
Well, they're AOL Time Warner. Like they bought into other things. They kind of diversified as they were.
I had no idea they were still cooking.
Yeah.
I haven't had a CD from them in a while, so
120 minutes or something.
Yeah, for 120 minutes.
My college roommate thought it would be really funny to sign me up for like 100 CDs and send them to the box at my college, mailbox. I got a call, and they were like mad. They thought that I was like gaming the system, and like they wanted to take disciplinary action on me. And a friend of ours that was in the computer science department jumped in, and he's like, hey. He's like, actually, I think someone played a joke on him. He didn't do this on his own. And then he called me. He's like, hey, we got like 100 CDs. Can we have them? We're making something with them. I was like, all right. Yeah, no problem. So he had like a huge CD stack. It was a lot. I don't know how much time he spent signing me up. And I don't know why AOL sent it to the same
address
without like having some red flag about that.
Yeah, like, well, I guess this guy really likes internet.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
dude. He really doesn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't know if I don't have a article referencing this, but you might. I don't know. I wanted to talk about the Oregon age law.
Which age law?
The 16-year-old.
For voting?
Yeah, for voting.
We have it from last week.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it right now, but have you? I don't know if you heard us last week. We were talking about it a little bit. I wanted to.
Did you see the comment on YouTube
about the voting?
Yeah.
No. What is? Do you remember what they said?
Our good friend Bill English commented and said, "I'm with Curtis. Raise it to 25."
Yeah, I'm all for increasing the age limit because the brain doesn't fully develop. But
I'll see if I can pull it.
I saw this one post about this guy who was talking about it, and he was mentioning, this. So for 16-year-olds, they're not allowed to own a handgun, and actually, I guess they're 16. You can own a rifle, I think.
Yeah,
but not a handgun. 16-year-old, technically, you can't smoke, you can't drink alcohol, you can't gamble, you can't play the lottery.
2 weeks ago.
You can't join the military.
Yeah.
At 16, you can't join the military. Yeah, you can't donate blood. You can't work full time. Technically, you're not of the legal age to consent to sex. You can't get a tattoo by yourself. Even you can't file a lawsuit.
It was on CBS News. That's why I have it up here. This is the original one we talked about.
And you can't purchase a vehicle. Like, there's an insane amount of things
that you cannot do.
An insane amount of things that you can't do.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Thank you.
It's mind-boggling.
Like, even at 18, I thought I was I'm an adult. Especially like joining the military. It's like,
right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I look at 18-year-olds now, and no offense to any that are listening,
they're idiots.
Like, I'm like, oh my God, you're such a child. Like, you have no idea what's about.
Your
to
brain
come
is
to you.
so young
like,
at that point.
I would be like thinking of myself when I was 16.
Yeah.
Being able to like vote on very serious topics,
crucial issues.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I'd be like, sure, whatever. Like, I don't care.
Well, and at the same time, I think that didn't they just sign a?
Kill him.
I think Oregon signed a thing that's saying that's automatic voter registration now.
Okay. Well,
for Oregon,
like
when you go and get your license, it just because we have all absentee ballots.
Mm-hmm.
So and you register through the DMV. So if the DMV did it, it would automatically register for everyone and send out ballots to everyone.
I mean,
that
kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, but it's just funny they're pushing that through as they're trying to say 16-year-olds too. Like,
okay,
they tried to raise the driving age to 18 not too long ago, and now they want to lower the voting age to 16.
It's ridiculous.
It's like
but real talk is there that much of a difference between 16 and 18? I mean, as far as mental development goes, I don't know if there's a dramatic difference in how much of a I mean, there's 2 years makes a difference, but
it totally
still,
depends on the kid.
That's sophomore to senior in high school.
That's true.
Sophomore to senior.
That 4 years is pretty crucial.
So that's a big jump.
That is a big jump.
I've seen some 18-year-olds. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you are so much more eloquent than me.
You're so much smarter than me.
Yeah, and like I watched a video, and I can pull up the article now, but you'll like this.
Uh-huh.
I only put this in here for you.
I like it.
This teen, and we'll have this link, and you can go look at it. But this teen, when he turned 18, defied his mom and went and got vaccinated, like caught up on all his vaccinations.
When he turned 18?
When he turned 18. And
because his parents were anti-vaxxers.
Yes.
Okay.
So his mom is. And well, he never mentioned his dad. But if you go watch the video of him, he's so well thought out in his speech, and he's giving testimony before some of these lawmakers or whatever about
why
him going and researching. He's like, I did my own research.
Wait,
as
why
an adult.
I mean, I have a lot to say about that. But first of all, why did they decide to have him?
I think they're making him kind of a poster child to speak out against the anti-vaxxers, because they even had, I think it was New York or somewhere where anti-vaxxers showed up. And they had to almost shut down the place because it got huge. Like, and there's all these people coming in and saying, hey,
protesting vaccines.
Yeah, and so they were protesting something that you and I have talked about.
Yeah,
like off camera, but which is like forcing vaccinations on people, which I'm in neither anti-vax. Yeah. I'm not in the anti-vax camp.
Yeah.
But I am.
Noah's going to the bathroom, guys.
Scared of the government. Anyway, so this guy was really, he was really eloquent in the way he talked, and he's like, using scientific evidence, and then they ask him, they say, where does your mom get her information? And he said,
"Oh, please say Facebook."
Oh, she said Facebook.
Oh,
he did say Facebook. Yes, said Facebook, which is
that makes me nauseous.
She's in all these groups. This week, Facebook said, "Hey, we're limiting how like groups and ads for anti-vaxxers are showing up, like they're doing for political stuff, saying that they don't want that information to show up on people's feeds as."
Oh, interesting.
Often as other things.
See, oh man, that's interesting. I don't know if I agree with that.
Right.
I think
if I read it right, it was mostly these groups because they've tended to be a little bit crazy. Although I don't ever think I've seen a group show up in my feed. That's where I was kind of confused.
Well, you probably, if you were searching for it, and then they would probably automatically.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
but here's the thing. So I am definitely for vaccines in the same way that I've done a lot of research into them, and I've seen the benefits of them, and I know that the risks of not having vaccines, and I know the amazing amount of diseases that we've been able to closely eradicate, and that's why people don't even currently have that much of a concern about not vaccinating their kids, because they haven't seen the ramifications of these diseases that we've been able to prevent. However, in the same way, on the flip side, as far as social media preventing anti-vaxxers from posting, like, I'm not for that, because I feel like that's freedom of speech that's being impeded, and I think it's on the onus is on not necessarily those companies, but the onus is on the individual and the parent. The onus. Onus?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
I don't know.
Anyways, the responsibility is on the individual to do the research and to decide what they feel like is appropriate for them and their family. However, it's difficult because social media is such a significant influence that people don't really know how to research something, I feel like. And that's where the lack of...
So that's where I had
the scary part comes from.
Just read this off. This is I actually did go read most of this study, but it says people who read Facebook article previews think they know more than they actually do. So this study goes on to say that, so they took people and they quizzed them, people that knew nothing, and then people who read the whole article, and then people who just read Facebook ads as they scrolled by, like randomly.
Gosh.
And the people that were most confident in their knowledge of that subject were the ones that just read the headlines. Even the people that read the entire article were less confident about the subject than those people.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's gross. That's disgusting.
Yeah. So he was when he was quoting his mom and stuff, she's just
scrolling.
She's seeing those ads.
So
a lot's happened since you went to
they were talking about how anti-vax. Well, actually, you tell them real quick, because actually I have to go pee now too.
Oh, okay. Curtis is going to go pee.
I'll go pee.
So just to bring you up to speed, and anyone else who's not been around here. Yeah. So wait, let's say where we leave off when you left.
Talking about
the kid,
the 18-year-old.
Yeah. So he broke his mom's rules, and he showed up, and one of the things that they asked him in the end was, where does your mom get her information? Because he had gone and studied, and you should go watch the video. He actually, as an 18-year-old, he's a good case study for somebody who would be good at voting at 18, I think. Even if I didn't agree with him, he looks like he does his research, and he sounds like it. But they asked where his mom got her information. He said, all from Facebook, which led into Facebook has responded by saying that anti-vaxxing ads and stuff are going to be less prominent in the feed. And Curtis was actually saying, I don't agree with that. I think it should all be even. All that kind of stuff, and you can chime in on that if you want.
Have you ever seen? There's like studies, especially during the election period.
Of things that pop up.
The different feeds based on people's voting preferences. Like everything, follows in line to where they're at, and it's like,
Yep.
If you only get your news from Facebook, then you're gonna be fed.
Oh yeah, and so that's where I actually read this study. Where people they did a study, and they took some random Facebook ads, and they had the generated headlines that you get on Facebook. And they had an entire article, and they had a group of people read the article and the headline. They had a group just scroll and read the headlines randomly, and they had a group that didn't read any of it. And the two groups that were most confident that they knew about that subject were the ones that didn't read anything, or the ones that just read the headline. The ones that read the entire article were actually less confident in their knowledge on the subject than the people who just read the headlines. Man. And so, I mean, I've seen people post things on Facebook that I'm like, did you even read this article? Because number one, the ads are just insane.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even say what the headline says. Like, it's not even close. It was just clickbait.
Yeah.
And
I've fallen trap to
everyone has.
Like, I'll post something like, oh my God, this is unbelievable, whatever. And
and it's like,
that's an article from The Onion. That's a total
Onion.
satire.
Yes.
Like, oh man, I feel like
dang it. Every time.
Yeah, I had
someone
Someone post a motorcycle
lizards
video.
people are not real.
Someone posted this. Yeah,
are they?
No. Well,
they should be.
Do you guys ever listen to Ground Zero?
No,
look,
I don't.
It has like a 20-minute intro.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Like the Ground Zero, I actually really like listening to that. It's freaky,
it's
dude.
Conspiracy theories.
Okay, so I have no idea what
this
is.
I think it usually plays at maybe 8 p.m. or 10
it's
p.m.
nighttime stuff, yeah.
Something like that?
Did it start like after 9/11? Is that why it's called Ground Zero?
I don't know.
No, it's more like, I don't know when he started. It probably started after that, but it's more
I'd love to get that guy on here.
Oh, dude.
I'm going to look up who he is. I can't remember his name.
Text him right now.
Have you ever seen him? Before you see him, if you haven't yet.
Yeah, he's I feel like a rather maybe well-nourished individual.
Yeah.
A little older.
But he doesn't look at all like
what you think. Yeah.
Which is crazy, another crazy anomaly. Just hearing people's voices and then you finally see him, you're like,
yeah, I mean, he doesn't look Clyde Lewis.
Clyde Lewis.
Shout out to
Clyde Lewis.
Clyde Lewis. Hey, shout out to you, man. We'd love to have you on. You're an inspiration to anybody that has any conspiracy theories out there. Also, your intro is a little bit too long.
So if you could just fix that
So
for
if you could tweak that for me.
I can hear it in my head right now.
Yeah. It's a really, oh man, I gotta find it. I gotta find the intro. I don't know. Can I play the intro?
No.
Sound? No?
You can't.
Okay.
We could post a link to it though. So, okay. Were we talking about something? Because I just saw something that I was like...
Oh, okay. Well, about conspiracy theories real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I had a kind of funny thought. Who would you, if you had to pick one person to be an ambassador to meet extraterrestrial, who would you guys pick? If you had to pick somebody. This is kind of a shower thought. We got random shower thoughts here.
So someone...
So if you had to pick one person to be an ambassador, living right now, to say, hey...
Right here, dude.
I know. Well... Do you real talk?
Dude,
Could you do it?
I don't trust myself.
I don't know if I'm smart enough.
Yeah.
But how is that not who as far as a general?
An ambassador.
Actually, no. I would like you to do it.
What
I think you could do a really good job.
Why would you feel like you wouldn't live up to it? But they don't know
what are the necessary qualifications to represent
a human? I'm not the
smartest
person on Earth by no means. So,
yeah. The other thing is there's mental intelligence, but then there's also socialized intelligence,
right?
But also an alien is not going to have the same social standards that you do either.
I can just think of people I would want to see interact with an alien, but I don't. As far as representing,
I
don't know.
Well, an ambassador, you're going to send me to some big
dude. They're on the moon. Ooh, I don't know if the moon. No, let's just say that they're in
pick someone to talk to.
I don't know about the moon. Did we really land on the moon? I don't.
Dude, that's an interesting.
The little crosshatches.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It looks like the astronauts getting pulled up by a string. I've seen some videos about the moon landing, guys.
Well,
seems kind of sketchy.
Here's what's funny. I've heard people too say that it was staged, but they actually went there.
The videos were staged, but then they had actually went there
because they weren't able to film it. And they had to recreate it. And so it's we really went there, but we need this PR. Anyway,
dude,
just a thought.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought for sure.
That's a
okay, so I would pick... Who would I pick?
It's funny that there's a guy behind you.
Dude, I have a really random... Yeah. I know, right?
I would pick this dude.
Yeah,
this
pick that guy
here.
Right there.
I don't know why. I can't justify it completely, but I feel like I'm shooting for just a random. I say Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, the Shark Tank dude. Owner of the Texas Mavericks.
Oh,
Denver Mavericks.
I feel like he'd.
This is how much.
Whenever
we try to talk about sports, it never ends well.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we're really underdeveloped when it comes to most sports, except for MMA. That's one that I feel like I have.
I don't feel like I'm developed there.
I have a decent grasp on the MMA.
I think you do.
I'm a fan.
I'm more of an NFL, and that's about it. I listen to sports radio, but
yeah.
You know what I respect about the NFL? There's not a lot of games. It's if you get into baseball, it's a 9-month commitment.
Oh my god.
But wait, you got to answer. So you'd pick yourself.
Well, I mean,
I think you'd do a good job.
I'm just saying, why not have an average guy?
An average guy. So the aliens don't get
decent point.
Too high of expectations.
Yeah, let's send Trump.
Like maybe they'll try and like, break stuff down Barney style and explain it to me. Like, hey,
if they can explain it to you, they can explain it to anybody.
We're gold.
True. So you'd send you? I don't know. I mean, I would go.
Oh, it depends on like if it's like a freaky ass alien, like
right.
Okay. I'll be like, no,
let's just send someone else. You're like, draw straws.
Dude, what was that movie? What was that sick movie? So good. Arrival?
Yes.
Did you see Arrival?
Oh my gosh.
It had the redhead actress in it, and she had to interpret. She had to interpret
all the aliens.
Alien signals.
What's the old one with I think Richard Dreyfuss?
Yeah, it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
No,
it's like up on the mountain thing.
Not Science. Signal.
Yeah. And he builds the mashed potato hill, and yeah. That's
Close Encounter. Yeah, that's
they have
to.
Cool. Yeah, they have to communicate with music. That was really close.
Yeah,
dude.
That was really good, actually.
He's like, well, I did watch it last night.
On my way down.
Kind of watch it every day.
I just remember the spoof that Weird Al did on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have two stories I really want to hit before we're done because they were both suggested by people outside, like outside here. So I'm gonna give you a little snippet of each one of them.
Excited.
And you pick one. Okay. So, an excessive dog bite, or a really, really freaky way to die.
Oh. I kind of feel like the freaky way to die.
Okay. So
is
it Billionaire diamond trader, and I can't remember his name, but I'm going to pull it up here.
A diamond trader.
He died on the operating table.
Pretty cool.
Getting his penis enlarged.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's a hard way to go.
That is that's kind of an embarrassing way to go.
I know. Well, he's dead now. So he was 65 and he was getting a penis enlargement.
As you typically do at 65.
This is
to match his balls, right?
Listen to that. Look at that gentleman. What is a suave looking gentleman?
He
looks like he drinks
You guys should go read the article. He's got kind of a mixed past. He's wanted for some things in some countries. Well, not now. But he sold...
that's a big diamond.
Yeah, huge diamonds and everything, and he's been doing it for quite a few years and just got really into his own vanity. And that's how he died. But the person that sent it to me, I think it was actually my wife sent it to me. She's like, this is testing normal. I was like, yeah, that definitely.
So what? It was just
wait.
On the table?
Was it like his penis got infected?
They injected it, and he had a heart attack on the table and died and come out.
Oh, well, that's...
They injected a substance into it.
Shorter than I expected.
Oh, something into it.
Wow,
right?
Wow.
Shortcomings.
Oh, boom, boom.
So wait. So they were injecting something in it, like to enlarge it? Or it was like the local anesthetic?
I think that... I don't know. It didn't really specify.
Because I could see, like, if it's just the needle for local anesthetic and be like, and then...
I don't know if it was. I tried to kind of figure out why. It sounded like it was whatever they were using to enlarge it.
Oh, my gosh.
From what it was. And what I think was kind of funny, and it's sort of not in good taste, but I'll say it anyway because we test the bounds of normal here.
Yeah.
Is that the dude made a living selling hard things. And died trying to make something harder.
Oh, way to kind of take that from small picture to big picture there. I like that.
Okay, so next thing. Dog bite.
Dog bite.
Here's how the story goes. Originally, kid playing in the backyard had a sock on his hand. His dad was mowing the lawn. I think he was mowing the lawn. And he reaches under the fence to play with the neighborhood's dog. And it's a husky. It took his hand off. Like from the elbow.
What?
Up. Gone.
Oh my God.
And they searched for it.
Oh,
the dad had to like get the... I know. It doesn't make you like... No.
It just makes you cringe.
And they never found the hand.
Did they find the dog?
Well, they found the dog. It was in the yard and it was caged like it should be and everything. Like...
In the yard.
So it was
in the yard. Yeah.
So it wasn't in his yard. It was in the yard over. So he reached his hand under.
Okay, so it wasn't their fault. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the original story that I read, and I did a little searching around and all that kind of stuff, and found that the mom had actually said that's not entirely true. What happened? The dog was actually like digging and like reaching under the fence and was like yanking on the kid for a while. Like they were fighting the dog.
Or the kid was probably teasing and playing with the dog.
Well, no, the dog was more underneath the fence than the kid was underneath with his hand up on the fence, and like they were having to like pull him away from the dog.
Oh,
like fight the dog for the rest of him.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So now they have I actually looked up a little bit
Don't
more
tell
last
me
night.
they took the dog's
no.
arm.
The dog went into quarantine.
Transplanted.
And
the dog's arm.
they've put it into seclusion. They said that the owner had done seemingly everything. They had the dog stored the way they needed to be.
Okay.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now there's a petition with over 150,000 people saying that we need to save the dog.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Ooh.
So who? Okay, but it's kind of like, was the kid? Okay,
it's an animal.
This is like a horrible thing,
Right?
I could be sounding bad because I
Go
might
for
be
it.
siding for the dog, but like, was the kid
Who's responsible for that?
Was the kid
really?
like
Yeah.
the doggy?
Right.
Like
exactly.
pissing the dog
Who's
off?
responsible for that?
That's what. I don't know.
Ooh, dude, man, if my
That kid's not gonna like dogs.
Well,
if my
It's done for him. Like,
my gosh, if my kid got his arm bitten off by a dog, I think it's in my nature and any parent's nature to instinctively say, well, I'm going to kill that dog. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's
as
not
a parent.
as a parent.
Yeah.
But also,
Well, you gotta think like
it's in
the
my
dog
head to think
is
like
now kind of got a taste for that.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's tasted blood, but also like in the same respect, is it the dog's fault? Like, here's the thought:
The dog
is it a healthy dog if no matter what the situation was, the dog is capable of chewing off a human arm?
It's just
like, is it ever okay for a dog to be in a place where it could it chew off a human arm that it knows what humans
but
are?
that's the whole thing about a pet too, especially
they're
dogs.
animals.
It's a wild
I mean,
animal,
they're.
like,
but that's not a wild animal.
No.
It's a dog.
No, but it's in
domesticated.
there. Like it's
but
in them.
Still,
It's like even these like nice cats, like
yeah.
that always live in. You see them and they're killing machines. Like
Right. Remember I talked about how many.
It's in them.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, they killed an insane amount of birds.
But that's the thing. Like my wife talks about it all the time. Like we'll look at our dog because like we love our dog. He's very
he's family.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
But if he bit your hand off and ingested it, how would you feel about him?
See, that's the thing. Is like I'd kind of be like, well,
He's a
dog.
dog.
Give a dog a bone, you know.
I guess I didn't feed him.
He is a dog.
But like that's what I'm saying.
Dogs
is,
will be
like,
dogs.
The animal, it's like it's a wild animal.
But here's the deal.
Yeah.
It wasn't your.
It
dog.
had no history, by the way. Just so you know.
But here's the deal. Like,
this dog had no history.
it wasn't like that family chose to have that dog in their neighborhood either.
Right.
So
yeah.
like, the hard part is, I guess, the distinguishing issue is: was that dog going into their property line?
Where was the hand bit? Was it bit on his side or their side? Because like, if the kid
and maybe the dog couldn't tell that it was a human arm because it had a big sock on it.
Yeah, I just thought I
totally forgot about the sock thing.
So the sock.
Well, that's what they had originally said, and when the mom told the story, it wasn't the same.
Okay.
Like it, and that's where like the
if
stories
there
have
was
been
a sock,
changing.
I mean, like it's horrible that this kid's arm was like ripped off.
Oh yeah.
But it's like,
Can you imagine dealing with that?
Wearing a glove that looks like a chew toy and like, ew, and then he bites it and you're like, you dumb dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
the sock plays a big factor there.
I mean, it sounds really gross, but I mean, to get the arm detached from the elbow down, I mean, that's a significant.
How big is this kid? Is he like 60 pounds?
I don't know.
Not that
I
I'm
don't
like
know how old he said he was.
would know this information.
But even if
small,
but even if like a 4-year-old kid, I mean that's going to take a significant amount of force to get.
The sock would have
been
been
like
removed.
a German Shepherd, which is a very common family dog. You know, they use them in police
or pit bull.
And like their chomping power.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Anyway, that's a rough.
Oh, that's gross. We're going down deep to some dark stuff. But on that dark note, real quick, I did want to say, I had another shower thought thinking about that death.
Yes. I didn't see it.
Would you rather?
Oh gosh.
Know when you're gonna die, or how you're gonna die?
Oh gosh. When? Maybe.
You know, I mean, if I could choose neither, I would. But
that's true.
If I had to choose one, I think it would be See, okay.
I guess if you picked how, it'd be like old age and like nice.
But if it's like, if it's something like you're gonna get hit by a meteorite.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
And you're like always, then you're never gonna leave your house.
But if you're told when you're gonna die,
then you're like, all right, well, I have.
Would you kind of feel like
3 months? I'm gonna like live it up.
And wouldn't you also kind of feel like I can literally do anything I want because I'm not gonna die until that time?
Well,
and then you find out it's just some drunk dude on the corner telling you when you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's not true.
Damn it!
Dang it, Pablo.
Yeah, it was just an internet quiz that you took, and it told you when you're gonna die. You're like, oh, those aren't real. Like those don't tell me exactly.
I read it on one of those Facebook ads. I'm gonna die in 3 months.
Well,
yeah, quick post.
So speaking of death, since we're on this train now, Uber this week was absolved of any repercussions for the self-driving car that killed a person on the road last year.
The woman in Arizona or something?
Yeah.
Wait, say that
on
again?
a bike.
What was it?
Uber was testing self-driving cars, and they had a staff member in the car that was supposed to be monitoring it.
Okay.
Turns out she was streaming Hulu, not monitoring it very well. But it was dark, and a lady crossed the road with a bike, and the car didn't see it. And you can go watch the video, and you can see how quickly it happens. Not really. Like, yes, but it's not. It doesn't look like anything. Okay. So it just goes beep 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 wham. Like even a person, that's when the car saw her, and you can see when she shows up.
A normal person driving
would have totally
would hit her anyway.
Hit the same person, yeah. But they stopped all self-driving tests and stuff in the U.S. for they've started up now. But anyway, they didn't say what that happened with that lady, because she actually was supposed to be paying attention, but she was watching Hulu.
I feel like that,
and I think she was watching The Voice.
That would be a horrible job. You got to sit behind a wheel of a car
that
do
can't
nothing. Drive.
Right.
Yeah. It would, yeah.
That's like, okay, granted, they do a lot and stuff, but like train and like public transportation,
right.
They're on rails, and they do have to stop and stuff like that. But think about like a train that goes like...
Yeah, it steers. And
like thousands of miles. You're on a track. The only thing you can do if someone's in there or something's in the way is like honk your horn and call it like, oh shit. You know, like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, that would be kind of a pretty monotonous...
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
boring job, especially if it's the same route every single day, or every
that's
couple
true.
days.
Yeah, I can't.
Anyway,
I personally, I would really like to have something that could just drive me to work and not have to drive, not have to steer or do anything like that. Like, I would love it.
Traffic, man. If you could just.
But also, like, Tesla's doing that now. I think that they have fully automated, or it's coming soon, fully automated vehicles that can do on-ramp to off-ramp.
It's later this year. They're doing city streets where it can see stop signs and stoplights as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love that.
So here's a shower thought I've got.
Okay. What do you got?
Do you know shower thought? You've listened to this a little bit, so okay.
No.
You're up to
I
speed.
even have one.
Ooh, I'm so
excited.
I mean,
it's
I read it and I was like, oh.
You liked it. Okay.
Juicy. Love it.
So here's one. You, or all of us, have the same amount of gold medals as almost everyone who's been in the Olympics.
Percentage-wise?
Oh.
No, like...
That's a good point.
There just really isn't a high percentage of anyone in the Olympics that gets a gold medal.
So I have the same number. Off. So yeah. I have the same number of gold medals as most Olympians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, simplified that.
Yeah, it's
you know why the rings are the green, black, red, yellow, and blue?
No idea.
Because all countries in the world, their flags have at least one of those colors in them. That's why it's those rings.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So like
that makes sense.
So like all flags of every country in the world have at least one of those colors: the white, the red, it's like the white backdrop.
Yeah, white, red, green. I think blue,
yellow, black.
Okay. Interesting. Why are they rings?
I think it's like a unity thing,
Because it looks like
looks
like the Audi symbol.
Yeah, kind of
just upside down.
Or you ever seen Saving Silverman with Kyle Gass when he's like, hello. I think of that every time I see it.
So what's your shower thought?
Well, it was just I had seen it and I was like, oh
yeah,
snap! It's
kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, basically,
that is interesting.
I saved it so I could remember it.
Yeah, no worries, man. Dude, the Olympics is a crazy concept in and of itself.
It is.
The amount of I don't know if there's
money, resources.
There's a super crazy documentary online.
Like how all the cities basically go bankrupt.
Trying to build.
going bankrupt just
would it be like their Black Friday? Do they get the money back? You know, like how with stores.
Right.
Like,
I don't think they recoup. I don't think they actually get
no
as much invested into the country as they do spend on it.
I have to go look, but I've heard a lot of them have just like totally ate it.
No.
Yeah.
The shower thought that I saw was.
What do you get?
Language is just sounds that we all agreed on.
Dude.
Like if you think about it. It's
like,
yeah, okay, that
and
makes sense.
we're continually changing our agreed upon sounds.
There was some movie, I don't remember, it's something Prince of something or another. I want to say Antonio Banderas maybe in it.
Sure.
And he's like maybe like a Prince of Arabia or something like that.
Okay.
Is the name. But anyway, he's stuck with this group of Vikings, right? And they're all talking in the like kind of Nordic tongue, Norse or whatever it's called. And he's sitting around the fire, and in the movie, he's just like observing him, and like every now and then, like a word in English will pop up.
Oh,
and
cool.
all of a sudden, he can like hear
more of them
saying.
start popping up,
and he starts speaking in English, but it's like showing that he learned their language or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So whenever I'm like in a different country and like listening to people talk, I'm like, I'm
gonna pick it up.
I'm just gonna know what they're saying. I mean, you can guess like based on their gestures and you know, the pitch, but like,
man, language is such a crazy concept. How it's different sounds basically mean different things.
Yeah,
but there's such dramatic different sounds mean different things. And
yes.
I heard kind of not exactly with humans, but how every single dinosaur sound basically is something we've made up. We've heard on movies.
We have no idea.
So like we always have this
idea.
like deep T-Rex sound that we hear on movies, and really it could just sound like beep beep, tweet tweet, or something random, or it might not even have vocal cords.
Well,
I know
it
we're
sound
just
like a bird, like a singing bird.
Yeah, it's true.
It could sound like
that would be creepy.
Or a crying baby.
If a T-Rex
really
showed up
loud.
and he's like,
yeah.
Or a crying baby,
chicken,
or like a pig. Yeah. What if a T-Rex actually sounded like?
Have you ever heard? Speaking of crying baby, have you ever heard of this? Sounds morbid, but like, have you ever heard a dying rabbit?
Yeah. Isn't it like a scream?
It sounds like
the most horrendous sound in the world.
Dying baby. It's
awful. Yeah,
horrific. But
that's the sound they make to call in coyotes and stuff when they hunt them. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just got hungry right there thinking about that.
Well, rabbit's pretty good. It's
rabbit.
Kind of like chicken.
Yeah. Did you know rabbit has like one of the lowest fat content meats? Like if you tried to survive just on rabbit meat and vegetables or whatever, you would die because there's not enough fat in the meat of rabbits. Yeah. There's like
sense.
Almost no, but you look at a big fluffy rabbit, you think, dang, that's a juicy looking.
Yeah, but once you get the fur off,
that's a juicy looking rabbit. That's got to be some good old
left afterwards.
Good old chubby, rabbit in there. But
a lot of protein,
constantly moving, not a lot of time.
Yeah.
You got anything else, man?
I don't think. I had this one last shower thought.
Okay.
It's about language since we're talking about that.
Yeah.
If you're too sharp and quick-witted for others to immediately understand what you say, it can make you look like a fool. However, if you're slow and talk simply, it can instead make you look like you're quite profound.
Right. Yeah, so basically,
I think I'd go with the latter myself. Talk real slow.
I
would like to do that, but I don't.
That's why this is so controversial in this room right now.
I would like to talk slower and not have as much of a rapid fire response to things, but it's difficult for me. Like my nature is to be like, just start talking, because when I talk when I talk about a subject, then I can think about it easier, I think.
I'm a talker, and sometimes I'm like, shit, dude, I gotta shut up and just listen, It'd be a lot easier. Or you say something, and then like once you throw it out, it's already out there. You can't take it back. If you said it,
Right. Yeah. But you know what? Honestly, we are who we are. We learn. We'll be different. We keep growing and getting smarter.
Hopefully.
Testing the bounds of normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good stuff. Noah, it's a pleasure, sir.
Dude.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll have to have you on again. Love it.
Oh yeah,
there we go, man. And you should come back again.
Please do. And everybody, if you like it, please subscribe. YouTube, iTunes, Google Play.
Yeah, it's
Spotify.
Pretty much everywhere.
Everywhere.
If you can't find it on some podcast app, then Email us. I'll fix it.
Email us. Comment if you like something. If you don't like something, let us know too.
On Twitch, I saw.
Well, now this week, this was the first time that we went on Twitch. I hope it went out. I didn't really check it. So supposedly it was on Periscope, Twitch, Facebook Live, and YouTube
coming to your homes. You're not going to be able to get away from us, guys.
Which I can see YouTube up right now. So
you might be annoyed by us, but it's not stopping. All day, every day.
So, yep.
Cool.
All right.
Everybody, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Peace out.